What's up everybody, this is Scott. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, it is the first comparison of the Pixel 6 era. It is the Pixel 6 Pro, which is right there, versus the old standby, the iPhone 12 Pro right there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and just dive into this particular video. In today's video, I kind of want to go over light technical specs between the two, talk about what some of the similarities are, what some of the key differences are, show you what some of the side-by-side audio sounds like. So everything that you see and hear right now is captured specifically on each of the phones. Everything is audio straight from the phone, no external microphone or anything like that. I am picking legitimately like the harshest sun of the day, as you can see kind of up in the sky. It is extremely harsh. Not a cloud in the sky. It's a beautiful day here in Ohio, but from a photography and videography perspective, it is some extremely harsh lighting conditions, so to speak. So I have my handy cheat sheet right here as it talks about the different two. So let's talk about some of the technical specs between the iPhone 12 Pro and the Pixel 6 Pro as well. The Pixel 6 is a 6.7-inch Quad HD display, 1440 by 3120. And it comes with the Gorilla Glass Victus, whereas the iPhone 12 Pro is a 6.1-inch XDR display, 25 by 32, 11 by 70, and comes with that ceramic shield glass that you see, supposedly supposed to be fairly scratch resistant, I guess you could say. I guess probably that's the best way to describe it. I should note that I'm filming everything on the front-facing camera, which is 4K 30 frames per second, although the iPhone 12 Pro has the ability to do 4K 60 frames per second. The 6 Pro does not have the ability to do that. It can only go up to 4K 30 on the front-facing camera. Now on the rear-facing, let's talk about some of the differences between the cameras. The 6 Pro has a 50 megapixel, a 12 megapixel, and a 48 megapixel, so a triple camera lens, whereas the iPhone also has a triple camera lens, but that triple camera lens is 12 megapixels, ultra wide, wide, and telephoto, with the ultra wide being f2.4, the wide being f1.6, and the telephoto being f2.0. The Pixel, it is the f1.85 on the wide. The 12 megapixel, it is an f2.2, and on the 48 megapixel telephoto, it is an f3.5. So again, everything that you see and hear shot on the front-facing camera of both of these. So how's the stabilization look on both? I'm not sure there's a winner or a loser, so to speak. I think they both look pretty darn good. How's the colors in the sky? Like I had told you, there's legitimately not a cloud in the sky. There's blue around everywhere. The grass on both, on the iPhone from True to Life, boy, they're awfully darn close in getting the actual colors correct. I got to go a little bit more True to Life on the Pixel, whereas if I shift around on the iPhone a little bit, it's not quite that green, but now that I've shifted on the Pixel, it looks a little bit more green as well. But how does it sound? I have a lot of background noise on, so one of the things I'm going to do is flip on the speech enhancement that the Pixel has and then compare that to the way it sounds from the iPhone. So now I have turned on the voice speech enhancement from the Google. It is a little bit more windy than I had anticipated. So this is what you could expect to hear out of the Pixel 6 microphones, straight out of the mic, holding it on a SwitchPod about, I don't know, maybe a foot and a half away from my face, but this is exactly what it looks like from this perspective. So take a look at the sky. Yeah, the sun is very bright in the sky. This is not quite as blue that you see on the iPhone. The green that you see behind my shoulder right here is not quite as green. It's green, but it's not quite as almost comically green on the iPhone. The Pixel is a little bit more true to life in terms of the colors. My skin looks a little more yellow on the iPhone, so to speak, but I guess I'm more that color than I am that color, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. So I'm gonna flip this camera around to the backside to show you what 4K 60 looks like compared, probably walk across the field that's directly behind me just so you can see what the stabilization looks like. Now, one of the cool things that you can see out of both of these, right now, this is just the regular old wide out of both of these shots. I'm gonna kind of get this particular goal in place. Now I'm gonna zoom in, I'm gonna zoom out to 0.5 and to 0.7 respectively. So it's a little bit more of an ultra wide on the iPhone. Now let's go back to wide, So reset so you can see exactly what that looks like. Now let's go to 2x on both. So you can see the 2x on both. Now where the iPhone doesn't have this is the 4x zoom that you can see right now on the Pixel 6 Pro. And this is what that stabilization, I'm just taking a very slight back and forth to the left and right so you can see exactly what that looks like. Now let's go back to the regular old 1x wide and let's just start walking. Now this, I should tell you, is 4K 30 frames per second, as you can see out of both the iPhone and the Pixel 6 Pro. This is what the stabilization looks like. Walking in grass. Grass seems to have been cut, but it looks like it's a soccer field, so needless to say, it is quite bumpy. So which one of the stabilizations look the greatest? Now, one thing I would say is, let's take a look over these trees over here. Take a look at the color of the trees, take a look at the color of the sky. Which one do you have a preference, or which one do you think looks better, I guess you could say? Honestly, I think they both look pretty darn fantastic. From a stabilization perspective, man, both of them are super, super good. So I don't know if I can say one way or another. You can see right now in the iPhone, as I'm just tilting back and forth ever so slightly, there's a little bit of a lens flare. This is kind of a known issue with the iPhones and the way that their lenses are, but you can see a little bit of a lens flare just right now in the iPhone. So let's flip this to 4K 60 and see what that looks like. Now we are on 4K 60 on both the Pixel 6 Pro as well as the iPhone 12 Pro. I still have the speech enhancement on from the Google's perspective. Let's take a look. Kind of slide it around here. Maybe do like a slight pickup on my feet to see what it looks like maybe in a fast pace, to see if this looks like it. While I'm walking around, let's take just another single peek at some of the tech specs. Both of these phones are IP68 dust and water resistant. The iPhone comes in with 6 gigs of RAM and that beastly A14 Bionic chip. Fast wireless charging up to 15 watts. Whereas the Pixel 6 Pro comes with 12 gigabytes of RAM, that brand new Google Tensor chip that's really been talked about, and fast wireless charging up to 23 watts. So which one has the better 4K 60? Which one looks better, more true to life? Take a look at some of these pictures right here. Take a look at some of this video, I should say, not these pictures. Take a look at that tree right there in front of us. That's kind of that orangey-ish, yellowish. I'm gonna walk toward it a little bit. From a stabilization perspective, I think I gotta go with Google on the 4K 60. So yeah, the iPhone looks not terrible, but a little bit more bouncy than that of the iPhone, or that of the Pixel 6 Pro, I should say. Now that you've seen some of the video out of these, the next best thing to do is to take a whole bunch of pictures. So what I'm gonna do is take a whole slew of pictures as it relates to both of the phones that you see right now, and let me know which ones you believe kind of take the best pictures, or the overall best pictures. To be completely transparent, both of them are gonna take fantastic pictures. It's really gonna be down to personal preference. But I have not seen this yet. I'm doing all of this on the fly. I'm literally gonna go take a bunch of pictures right after this and then kind of look at them inside of each of the phones and kind of give you my thoughts and closing thoughts in the very next segment. So let's go take a bunch of pictures. Now that you've seen some of the photos, let's talk about some of the key differences between these two and maybe which one you should choose. Quite honestly, I think you can see from the Pixel right now, everything that you've seen on this Pixel, this is a huge leap forward in terms of the video. They've already been really great at the photos, but they have that HDR net that they talked about before, where they're actually doing the computational photography sort of algorithm type thing on the video, which means you're getting all of the great computational photography, but now done in that video mode through the new Tensor chip because of the silicon. But moving over to the iPhone, this is the old standby, the true. This one has been absolutely killer in the game when it comes to video. Long story short, I don't think you can go wrong with either one of these phones. It's really down to a personal preference. And Google is making it really, really good this year to get involved, specifically with the Pixel, because the Pixel 6 Pro, as equipped right now, the one in my hand is $899. Now, the iPhone 12 Pro currently, right now, was when it was brand new, it was $999, and the exact same iPhone 12 Pro today you can get for the same price. Now, the iPhone 12 Pro, the one that I have right here, is actually a little bit smaller. It's 6.1 inches versus 6.7 inches out of the Pixel 6 Pro. So we really need to draw the comparison to the Pro Max of the iPhone 12. The Pro Max, when it was brand new, was $1099. An iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 Pro Max right now is going to run you about that same price point. So from a price point perspective, Google coming in at $899 is an absolute incredible steal, especially when you start to compare it. This is a true flagship type phone, and you can see right now, take a look at everything that you see up in the sky. The blue, pretty darn accurate on both of these. You can see right here, the iPhone is struggling just a little bit when it comes to the balance right here, but the Pixel has nailed it pretty darn well. The grass and the greens behind me, take a look at some of the pictures again, pause and go back. Take a look at the shadows, take a look at the lights, take a look and see is there any crushing in the shadows where the blacks are just too dark. Take a look at some of the nighttime shots that I have so you can see which one of those handled nighttime shots better. The TLDR out of all of this is you cannot go wrong with either one of these phones. But for me, I'm going to go with the brand new Pixel 6 because of everything that it's got going for it. But again, can't really go wrong with the iPhone 12 Pro as well. So that's it. That's all I have. Thanks for watching. And as always, like, share, subscribe, thumbs up. Leave a comment below. If you're so inclined, please subscribe and hit that bell icon for all of the awesome Pixel content that I have coming out. And we will see you again next time.